Good morning. Well, that's certainly not sorry. I would like to call the meeting of September 16th, 2020 to order. We will move to public comment. Before we do so, just like to state that commoners shall state where they live, or if they are not a resident of Philadelphia, that they are a Philadelphia taxpayer. Public comment is not an opportunity for dialogue or Q&A. It is public comment, a chance for you to tell us what you think. Each speaker shall have 2 minutes. However, I may extend this time at my discretion. All public comments must be relevant or germane to board business. Finally, it is my responsibility to preserve the order and decorum of the meetings. As such, profane, slanderous, discriminatory, or personal attacks will not be tolerated. Anyone here about polling place locations, that subject matter will be handled later in the meeting. Anyone wishing to offer public comment at this time, please step forward. Good morning.
My name is Garella. Philadelphia.
Louder.
Is this on? Hello? My name is Garella, and I'm a Philadelphia voter. I want to touch on a couple of topics very briefly. One is the transcripts issue. Now that it's clear that you have long had the right to post transcripts for the public, we urge you to start doing so. We also urge you to post the minutes of each meeting that are required by the Sunshine Act promptly after each meeting, as well as ideally agendas before the meetings. The second is the publication of your plans for polling locations. We've seen that signs are posted at some polling locations that you propose to change. This is, at best, minimal compliance with the law. You have the list and the locations, and these should be published on your website to give the public the maximum rather than the minimum notice in case they have input. It's possible to maintain a list that shows which locations are proposed to change and when the proposal will be voted on. The third is that we urge you to take advantage of the city's information technology resources to help you hold these meetings virtually, as the vast majority of the city's boards and agencies are successfully doing, to make them as accessible to the public as possible. We continue to offer our recommendations on how to make these meetings as open as they can be. And we've submitted those recommendations for the record. We've also submitted today the text of 2 WHYY news articles that are relevant to these topics for the record of today's meeting. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment, please step forward.
Hello, my name is Murielle, McCarthy. I'm protector of Philly. I'm a resident of Philadelphia. I'd like to suggest that you turn up the volume so that we can have a greater distance from the microphone. This is a COVID issue here. Thank you.
Anyone here for in-person public comment not related to polling places? Okay. We'll now move to a report from the secretary regarding emailed public comment.
Good morning. The City Commissioner's Office has received 2 public comments that were forwarded to us after 9:45 a.m. today. Those comments will be included with next week's meeting.
Thank you. We will now proceed to old business with a report from Executive Director Joe Lynch
Please increase the volume. This is ridiculous.
Or put a microphone that works.
To date, there are 267.
You are risking the people who are going to be using this microphone.
Excuse me.
No, I'll take it.
We are in this space for that.
Excuse me.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
To date, we have processed 267,778 absentee and mail-in applications that were approved. For the absentee, there was 24,075, 1,222 paper, 22,853 online. For the mail-in ballots, there was 240,812. Out of that, 93,449 were paper, 147,363 were online. Civilian overseas applications, 724. Federal voter applications, 1,836. Military applications, 331. Total ballots that were approved overall was 263,416. There's a total of 31,000 outstanding ballot applications to date. For this cycle to date for voter registration, we processed 151,089 registrations. Of that, 20,650 was paper. We are processing 3,800 paper registrations from 9/14, and we are opening the mail from 9/15. The electronic applications are all up to date. For polling places, there's 17 out of the 1,703 divisions, 1,614 divisions are solid, that's 94.8%, and 1,680 sites are confirmed to date. That's all I have, Commissioner.
Thank you, Jim. We'll now hear a report from Charles Stroman regarding new business and polling places.
Hello?
All right.
Okay, good morning, Commissioners. I'd like to start with a quick update from the divisions announced last week. Division 17, Ward 17, Division 12, Ward 31, Division 17, and Ward 46, Division 8 were announced as remaining at the same polling places they voted in 2020 primary. These divisions are going to change and will come up at a future hearing. Also, 31-6 is now confirmed to remain at Sion Rec Center. Okay. Moving forward, as I stated last week, our goal is to have as many divisions as possible to return to the regular polling places, meaning where they voted in the 2019 general election. We'd like to move the 472 divisions listed on the sheets in front of you from their consolidated locations back in locations where they voted in 2019 general election. A copy of the list has been given to each commissioner and is available at the public comment table. I ask that the list be moved into the record, or if you like, I can read through all 472 changes.
I make a motion to move the list into the record.
Second.
I'm in favor.
In favor?
In favor.
So moved, Charlie.
Thank you. This week's list is for wards 1 through 33. I will have a similar list available next week for your consideration for wards 34 through 66. Notices were placed on the 2020 primary polling places, the proposed 2020 general election place, and within the division. If the changes are approved, we will update the running list on the PhiladelphiaVotes.com and the Sure system for each of the divisions. I would ask that the polling places for 472 divisions listed on the sheets in front of you be approved.
I vote to approve. I'm sorry. Before we proceed, is there anybody here for public comment about polling places? Okay, so we're going to have to ask you to come up in order. So I guess we'll take the back row first. So anybody that's in the back want to come up, and then we'll get to the front. So when you're coming up to comment on the polling places, I would just remind you that you have 2 minutes. Thank you. Please state your name for the record also. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for having me here. I did send an email with this because I wasn't sure if I was going to get here, but I do want to say I'm Sharon Strauss. I'm a voter in 912 and a member of POV Philly and Indivisible Northwest Philly. And I noticed the sign, this lovely sign right here, while I was out walking the other day around Lincoln Drive and Allen's Lane, a week ago, I'm not sure the date. And I want to thank you for posting the information. However, as of right now, which was at 9:30 this morning when I wrote this, and I presume still the case given the comments from the last speaker, this proposed polling place is not even listed on your website. In fact, the single polling place listed for all of the 9th Ward at this time is mine, Division 12, the one at the Lutheran Seminary. Actually, I'd rather vote at the Art Center, which is where Division 14 is slated to move, since it's much closer to me. But that's not the issue. The issue is, without knowing other divisions proposed for the Art Center, which no one could know prior to coming to this, and even don't know now, because you have not even publicly read that, and we only have this list right here in front of me, there's no way to know whether that seems like it makes sense for Division 14. The Art Center isn't that big. In the fall, you had a couple of divisions there, and depending on your plans for November, this may or may not be a viable option given the need for social distancing. I'm not going to comment on whether it is because I don't know. Actually, I could look here quickly and see, but I don't really know the square footage of the Art Center offhand, so it doesn't make that much difference. Just posting a few signs at random locations does not give voters enough information to necessarily see the plan at all. Like, if I hadn't been walking at the corner of Allen's Lane and Lincoln Drive, I would never have known that you're planning to move the polling place. And I don't know whether the people who are actually the residents of Division 14 know this. So, just posting the signs doesn't give us enough information to even see the plan, let alone intelligently comment on the plan. And kind of, this isn't related to the polling place, but I just want to take this moment that I have to also question what's going on with the poll worker applications, because I understand you're still short on applications. I put in an application because I want to help Philadelphians vote, and I'm just wondering when I can, how I can expect a response. And also,
okay, your 2 minutes is up, Ms. Steiner.
Okay.
And I would also let you know that 912 is staying where it was in the primary, and it is posted on our website. It came up last week as one of the locations that was not moving.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day. Next person from the back row, please. Good morning. Please state your name for the record.
I'm Weiss Gibson. I'm the judge of elections for the 22nd Ward, 26th Division. If you don't mind, I'll remove this. Thank you. I'm here today because I'm absolutely disgusted with how this process is going. I come here.
Sorry, you have to put your mask on if you're going to be in front of the microphone, because other people are going to use the microphone.
I guess, but I understand.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm here today because I'm absolutely disgusted with the way this process is going. I normally come here with understanding and reason, and this is disgusting. There's no notification, no proper.
Excuse me, sir. I'll ask you to kindly lower your voice. Thank
I
you.
would kindly ask that you have more notice about the changing of these polling locations, and that's why I'm here today. There's one poster at the for 22nd Ward, 26th Division at the corner of Crittenden and Sprague Street. There's not enough notice. There's only one poster for that entire division. I have over 500 voters I have to consider. I did get I wrote a letter to the entire board. I'm sorry, I'm very flustered. I did write a letter to the entire city commissioner's office, to all 3 members, explaining my concerns about this, the lack of notification and the lack of signage, along with the lack of notification of me, the judge of elections of my division, and the change of this polling place. I find this disgusting. I find this absolutely repugnant. And I am very upset that I have to go around and tell all my neighbors personally about this meeting, because there was not proper notification about this meeting. In terms of changing the polling place itself, I have to say I'm not completely opposed to it. It's close to my house, it's closer for all my neighbors. I have concerns about the fact that the person who owns this polling place ran for Congress 2 years ago, but that was 2 years ago and that's not now. But the lack of transparency about this, the fact that I have to go 3.5 miles from my house to talk about this issue instead of going online or going on a phone call. It is disgusting, it is repugnant, and I already know that the postcards about this polling place change are not going to go out until about a week before the election. And that's voter suppression. The fact that people are going to go to one place expecting their polling place to be verified will be moved beforehand, and they will only have maybe a week's notice, is voter suppression in form. I try to be more eloquent when I speak publicly, and I know my time is up. I do apologize for my tone, but I really am upset about this. And if nothing else, after you move these polling places, and again, I also understand there's a lot going on with this pandemic, and I also understand you have a lot on your plates. If I have only one thing I can add to this, one request I would make, other than making these meetings online again, other than that, I would say, after you make these changes to the polling places, please send out the postcards as soon as possible. Normally they only go out a week before the election. We cannot have that this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And just 22, 25, and 22, 26, they will be brought up at another time. They're not on the agenda for today.
Thank you. I did get that in the message, so I do appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today. Next speaker from the back. We're going to go from the back forward because of the need to social distance. So, anyone else? Okay, who's still here to speak on the podium? Come forward, ma'am. Please state your name for the record.
Good morning. My name is Weiss. I'm a committee person in 2207. And just to reiterate what other people have said about the notice given, a neighbor alerted me to the poster. I wouldn't have seen it. There was one in my division as far as the hearing today. But I'm here to actually propose an alternative location to the move back to our original location. So in 2207, our original polling place is Jesus is the Way Church, which is a very small storefront church. It is actually outside of our division across Nicetown Avenue, which is cobblestones. It does not have a crosswalk. We have 2 large apartment buildings on Elmland Street where a lot of our voters live. These are the most vulnerable constituents. They are elderly. They have the most health compromises. And so I've done a little bit of research. I found an alternative location at the John Perry Irish Center. They are amenable to becoming our polling place. They have an ADA compliant entrance. They are looking to do more community service as a nonprofit organization. And I'd like to thank Mr. Stroman for helping work with us and try and make that possible. But we really need to enfranchise more voters in our division. We had arranged rides for them previously and had a good volunteer network to drive people, but we can't do that now due to the pandemic. So we're asking for your help, the Commissioner's office, to help us get the polling place changed.
Commissioners, I ask that we take this proposal under advisement and ask our polling place and unit and supervisor, Charles Stroman, to please do an investigation on its viability.
I agree.
I agree.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We'll check it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sabir. Appreciate your time today.
Who else is here for public comment regarding the polling location? Come forward, sir.
Thank you for having this meeting. I'm Mark Kluss. I'm the librarian down at the Nicetown-Tioga Library. And if I may, I'd like to ask some questions. So this is the city election commission meeting, is that right? Yes? Okay. So this morning I walk in and I see a notice that the 2020 primary polling place for 1323 will be moved from Masbury, Cleveland Charter to Nicetown-Tioga. So how does this work? Like, does the library get notified, or because this was kind of a shock to us? Anybody?
Charles?
So it was at Nicetown in 2019. We're just putting it back to the same place.
What's that?
So apparently, so it has all that polling location in the past had been at the library. We
Right.
moved it in June because of the consolidation.
Right.
So we're simply moving it back to its original location.
But, okay, can I ask why? I mean, we're not open to the public. We don't have staff. So are you going to make this a public place on November 3rd? Is that the idea? I'm wondering what's going on. So,
Thank you.
that's it?
We'll take it under advisement and then we'll see what's, I mean, that's the libraries, you know, we already have been in consultation with the libraries
Oh,
with
you can
regard to
contact the
election.
library. Right. That's
Thank you.
the folks at the bottom, not necessarily here, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody else here to speak on public comment regarding the polling place? I'm sorry, sir. This gentleman first, and then you can come. Sir, with the hat on, you can come up. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I'm here representing from Community Outreach Center, 2036 East Haines Street,
Thank you, sir. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Joseph Stafford.
Thank you, Mr. Stafford.
And I'm representing two locations, 2036 East Haines Street and 4015-17 West Poplar Street. Question was coming in if it was a change of location, which they didn't quite understand what they saw on the poster outside. And I'm here to tell you that the place is available for those two address and locations.
Do you know the ward and division, sir, by any chance?
Unfortunately, I'm
Okay, and what's the address?
2036 East Haines Street
2036 East Haines Street.
and 4015-17 West Poplar Street.
Okay, so we're going to take some time to determine what ward and division they are, okay? We'll get right back to you. Okay, sir, those two addresses are not coming up on our list. So I'm going to ask that you give your information to Mr. Stroman and we will follow up with you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The gentleman with the red shirt, thank you.
Morning.
Good morning.
My name is George McClenton, and my wife Sharon is with me. And we're here because on telephone poles in our neighborhood was a notice for this meeting to come and discuss our polling place, which was closed and consolidated to Saul High School. So I think it's 21st Ward, I think it's 4th Division. Previously used to meet at Houston Playground in the Andorra section of Roxborough. And so the notice on the poll was if you're interested in having Houston Playground reopened as a polling spot for November 3rd, to come to this meeting. So we did, because
Thank you so
we would
much.
like that. And we would also be willing to volunteer if that site needed workers. So that's our story.
Thank you so much. We'll get your information and thank you. Thanks for coming out and being a part of the process. Anybody else here to speak about a polling place? Do you have business for the board, ma'am?
All right, I'm from the 2816 Ward Division, and we were at 26 and Lehigh at the library. We have a few polling places there, and we were at Ethel Allen this year. It was so chaotic. It was too much going on. People didn't want to, go to other people's table because they didn't know who people were. So my question is, are we going to have our same people? Are we going to be back at our same polling place where people know where they belong?
So the comments now are for polling place locations. We are approving polling place locations in phases. In June, as you said, we were consolidated. There was no consolidation planned for the November election.
Okay, so normal people could come to the same spot, because I was just asked that today to make sure they come to the same spot where they were at, not in June, but prior.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't know your ward and division.
2816.
2816. Hold on.
We got 13, 14, 15, and 16.
At Widener Branch Library.
That is correct.
That's where it's going back to.
That's so we're going to go back to 13, 14, 15, 16, so we're all good. Thank you.
Thanks for coming down and being part of the process. Anybody else here for comment about polling locations? Okay, so now I'm going to make a motion that we approve everything on the list to be approved that Mr. Stroman submitted, and we will take under advisement and withhold 2207 and 1323. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any more new business?
I have none.
I have none.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out to be part of the process. And it was very nice to be able to do it in an open, socially distanced manner. Thank you.